What is going on, people? We are Tottenham TV here, back in Amsterdam after what was an atrocious 90 minutes Tottenham put out there in RZ. You know, I've been staying in Amsterdam here, and after that performance, I'm not sure who spent more time in the coffee shops, me or the players. After that performance, they seemed dazed, they seemed confused, they just did not seem on their game, and considering they have had 8 days to prepare for this game, it's a major disappointment, I have to say. I'm definitely one who's been backing Ange. I'm definitely one who's been banking on him to turn it around once players return and once he has an option to choose from. But today was an awful day for him. Tottenham not having a single shot on target throughout the whole game. RZ, especially in the first half, really taking Tottenham to the sword and having openings and dangerous areas. Obviously got their goal, which was obviously a massive slice of luck. Lucas Bergvall spinning off the top of his foot when he's looking to clear it, and obviously that goes against Tottenham in a poor moment. But RZ deservedly took the lead, I have to say, with the pressure of being Tottenham under, catching Tottenham in transition, catching them in behind on the wings especially. And it was hard for Tottenham to deal with, to be honest, and it was really difficult. So I think in that first half we had a lot of trouble dealing with RZ in transition, and I think the most disappointing though was how we struggled to deal with RZ on the ball, and we struggled to really hurt them and create any sort of openings. I can remember one chance maybe near the end, Pape Sarr had a header. Other than that, can't remember too many opportunities Tottenham really created against this RZ team, who, yes, are really great going forward. And to be fair, in the Eredivisie, they are the second best defensive team. So I don't think you can say they're a poor defensive team, but still, you expect us to make a lot more chances than we created. It was really frustrating for a lot of that game. Maddison, anonymous, Sonny not looking to take on his man, Tell was struggling, to be honest, and got hooked at half time, deservedly so. So many poor performances out there. I guess the positives in terms of performance, Lucas Bergvall again shining light in that midfield, fearless ability to stride into the space and not look back, looking to create things, make things happen, you know, actually engage in close duels with players instead of hiding from them. I think he was fantastic. Spent another good display. I thought he was pretty solid throughout, to be fair. Didn't put much wrong. Other than that, Gray had a good game most of all. Him and Dante were decent again, but yeah, he chose obviously to rest Porro, but I thought he looked a bit better when Porro came on. And to be fair, the second half, as much as it was not great going forward again, and I can't really sit here and say it was a massive improvement, the one positive is we did restrict RZ a lot more in that second half than we did in the first half. So that was a sign of maybe adapting to how RZ were hurting us and making sure that wasn't happening again, but we still weren't able to hurt them. Now Ange, it's difficult times for him at the moment. 1-0 down in this round of 16, 13th in the Premier League, 18th loss of the season. All those stats sound absolutely horrific, and they are horrific. I've always given a bit of grace when it comes to injuries and the circumstances of the season and how it's gone for us. I don't think he's been dealt a good hand, but you can't use injuries as an excuse in this game. And we should be fresher than ours. They've actually played 2 games since we played our last game. We've had 8 days to prepare for this game. We had, apart from maybe Romero van der Ven, you know, we had most of our first choice players out there. Maybe obviously Telfer Solanke, who came on and got injured. Of course he did. It's another oncoming train from Tottenham. He got injured, and terrible timing for him, just as he looked like he's getting fit. So Ange can't use that excuse, and we're not creating any chances. I know it's against a decent side, but still we've got to be beating them. We're favourites for this game, and the amount of effort, the quality was absolutely shambolic. There's no two ways about it. It was terrible. And I'm running out of patience with him, and I'm one of his biggest advocates. I still think he can turn it around. I do think there's a good chance to win that second leg. You know, it was all to play for. It's only 1-0. And that's the major positive, is the fact there's only 1-0, because it could have been a lot worse in that first half. And we can turn it around, and maybe we'll find a balance in this team, and maybe we'll start to click again like we did earlier in the season, but it hasn't happened for a while, and that's the brutal truth. Even in our wins recently against Brentford, Man United and Ipswich, football's inconsistent, and it wasn't pretty at times. We had to grind through those games, to be honest. We weren't at our best even in those games. So since then, obviously, we've lost to Man City, and now we've lost here to RZ, two decent teams who were obviously going to make it difficult for us, and they did. And whenever we seem to come up against a decent team at the moment, we have no answer. And he's running out of time, he's running out of excuses. If he does lose that second leg, there's going to be very little reason to keep him at this point, because I can't see Tottenham having any sort of success this season if they go out this Europa League. So no doubt about it, I think his job is riding on how well we do in this tournament, and to have this game started with a 1-0 loss. Not all is lost, it's important to say that, but have this game start as 1-0 loss is not good enough. And the manner of the performance, we just didn't turn up again. And serious question marks have to be asked about Ange, and how well has he got this team motivated, and all these different things, because there's no excuse. I've always said there's a fine line between a team that's looking fatigued and a team that's not playing for their manager. But there's no excuse to be fatigued today. We had options, we had a break, and we still look like a team who's struggling to really intensely impose themselves on the opponent. I think the physical battle of the game, we were coming up second best a lot of that game, and that was also very, very disappointing. I think RZ were very physical against us, and they found it so easy to defend. I know they're the second best defence in the Eredivisie, but still we have pretty much, apart from Solanke, our first choice front line there, and we couldn't create a single opportunity of note throughout the whole game. Really, really struggled. It was actually, and they never really looked uncomfortable at all. In fact, we looked a lot more uncomfortable than they did. So he has a lot of thinking to do, a lot of looking in the mirror to do, Ange, because this is a massive week. Bournemouth at home on Sunday, not going to be an easy game as well. They're going to also have a bit of extra break than us, and we tend to struggle with play Thursday, Sunday. Bournemouth are obviously a very good team. There's no getting away from that. So no guarantees we get anything from that game. And then the second leg, it's a massive week for Ange Postecoglou. And this is talking from someone who really likes him, who thinks he is a good manager and can succeed at this football club. It's a massive week for the belief among the fan base that he could actually turn this around, for the belief in the dressing room that they're not just putting all this effort for nothing, when this whole season, all this running, one of the highest running teams, is all going to be for nothing if they end up sacking Ange Postecoglou. So massive week for him, massive week for the club, but it's got off to an absolute shocker with a 1-0 deficit. So it is still 1-0, very much back to turn that around at home when it's in our ground, but doesn't bode well when we have to go away from home to more harder teams in later rounds. That's, I think, the fairest assessment. And so even if we get past this round, the fact that we performed that abjectly is going to weigh on a lot of fans' minds, I think, going into the future round. So, all right, we'll see how we go. We'll see you back on Sunday. I'll be back in the studio tomorrow with Ben. Obviously didn't make it here. We'll see you guys very soon. Like, subscribe, comment, and as always, come on, you Spurs.